French food is traditionally thought of as exquisite, and the food here, I know from experience, is exquisite. Can you tell me briefly what you think is the essence of French cooking?
Well, that's a major question.
Is it butter?
No, because we have in France butter, but we have in the south mainly olive oil.
Ah.
So butter is something that brings the flavor in the food, but olive oils as well. And sometimes you cook with a bit of butter and a bit of olive oil. Okay, so the essence of the French food, it's very, very hard to tell.
I know.
But I would say the French are in some ways unique because they have been exposed to food since their youth. Okay? And not only exposed, but they have been also involved in making the food. I have memories of my family, mother, grandmother, aunt, cooking, and I was watching, and I was smelling, and going into the house. I could recognize if it was my aunt or my grandmother cooking, okay, by the flavor.
Wonderful. And also, I expect the food would often be local too.
Yeah. Food, like you see, you mentioned the food at the Lafayette Bistro. The food are mainly food from local region, like the confit de canard, duck confit, or goose confit.
Oh, goose confit.
Goose confit is excellent as
Never
well.
heard of goose confit.
Yeah, it's more difficult to find now because the goose have to be fed in such a way that it's not always allowed first.
Ah.
Yeah, and it's not sometimes the best way to launch a restaurant. Well, the duck is not much better, okay? But those foods are local, comes from farm.
Yeah, yeah.
The beef bourguignon, which is another signature dish here, is coming from a region, Burgundy, where they use the wine and some parts of the beef to enhance the flavor of the beef and the wine.
It's a sublime dish.
Yeah, it has to be cooked in such a way that you don't have it on the stomach for 3 hours, okay?
Yes.
Here, I can tell it's a light one, but it's a very tasty one.
It's interesting, isn't it, that the food that you serve here, the excellent French cooking, is rich and satisfying, and yet, as you say, it isn't sit like an indigestible lump in you somewhere. Yeah. It has a sort of buoyancy, a sort of lightness.
Yes.
Which is surprising because it's solid, heavy,
yeah.
It's beef and wine. And
it's true, but you have a way to cook it. Yeah. When it's not cooked properly, I can tell you, you're going to have it overnight.
Yeah, I dare say.
Yeah.
It's sort of brave, is it not, to open up an excellent French bistro in a city that is perhaps not used to the delicacies of French food? Are you training people?
No, I'm not training people. I am trying to share with people, okay, which is different.
Nicely put.
And what I want to share is what I like myself. And what I didn't find very often in Toronto. Okay? It's simple food, but tasty food. It's a mix of regional food, and sometimes I also cook something that is international, like couscous, which comes from Morocco or Algeria or Tunisia. Mine is coming from Morocco. So all what I want is to share those food with the people. Okay. And my big satisfaction is when the people are saying, well, listen, I had that before, but that's not it, okay? That's
never as good as this.
No, never as good as this. A simple onion soup. You have different way to cook it. We made our own chicken broth here.
makes such a difference.
It makes not only a difference, but with chicken broth, it's not as heavy as with beef broth. Don't take me wrong, beef broth is also a good ingredient. Again, it's good, but it could be a meal by itself.
Yeah.
With beef broth, with chicken broth, you can have room in your stomach.
Follow a full meal. Yeah. It's lovely.